There were a handful of people who knew about a suitcase that had been abandoned on a desolate farm in rural Wisconsin. They spoke about it at first, only amongst themselves. They agreed that it must be a child's body that was stuffed inside. It was a little kid.
Eau Claire. Looks like the buildings are abandoned. Like some shacks are falling down and stuff like that. I don't want to go near. I don't want to go near. I don't want to have anything to do with that. I'm scared. That place looks scary.
Okay. When he drove by and pointed it out to you, did it kind of seem real to you then? Yeah. I mean, it seemed scary. It seems like bad. It seems like something's creepy about it. 'Cause he told me he think it's a little girl. 'Cause he said he looked at the size of the pelvis or whatever. He gave me some details about it. I told him I don't know. I don't want to go near that. I don't want anything to do with that. If there's a body there, I don't want to go near them. Russia detailed the location of the farm
As clearly as he was able. As investigators sought out the property, they also spoke with others who were rumored to have encountered the small body in the suitcase. I think Mackenzie knows about it, so tell me about that. Mackenzie said Mackenzie told the cops about it when they came and raided the house. Bernard had not only told others of the suitcase that he had discovered, but he brought at least 2 other individuals to the desolate location to take a look at it. He later claimed that he believed his eyes were playing tricks on him and needed others to verify what was inside. He told me that it was a little kid in his suitcase, chopped up or some. The cops bailed me. He went to it. He was scared to me. I don't know why he would go to the cops, right? He looked there. It was right down the street from 29, right? I was driving down there and told me where to go. I was driving back, and it was right next to the parap. The whole last corner was driveway. There's just this purple suitcase sitting there in the middle of nowhere. Basically, it was just out of place. Didn't belong there. Right. It looked like it was covered in blood. Dark brown and old blood. Yeah. I don't know. I just drove right past it. A deputy from Eau Claire followed up on the information provided by Russia Mackenzie and others. The officer found the property in question off of County Road T, down the gravel drive into the overgrowth amongst the decrepit sheds and barns. The deputy discovered a single purple suitcase. It sat in an open field, strikingly out of place. A crime scene unit was called in and the area cordoned off. There was no indication that a murder had taken place nearby. Investigators slowly unzipped. In a suitcase, chopped up or some. Months passed before the remains were recovered. The suitcase. Inside, they found a body, though it was mostly only bones. Oh boy. Yeah, you can close that. There was no indication of the victim's identity. Indeed, it was unclear if the body was a child or adult, a male or female. However, there were other items alongside the deceased inside the suitcase: a pair of shorts, a soiled box, and a small empty notebook. It was the last 2 items that suggested the body inside was an adult woman. 2 pregnancy tests. Both had been used and showed 2 lines across, a positive result. The autopsy found no defects, injuries, or any signs of trauma to the bones. No cause of death could be determined. The remains were then sent forensic testing, a process that would take months. The hope was to find enough flesh for DNA extraction, or perhaps matching dental records, which would help investigators to identify the victim. In the meantime, there was one other very curious clue discovered near the suitcase, on the rear of the property. It was a name tag, and it read Rosalie. Months before the suitcase was found in Eau Claire, a concerned husband entered the police station 2 hours southwest in Reedsburg. He and his wife had parted ways weeks earlier. He said they had continued to communicate via text, however, for some time after she left. But more recently, her messages had ceased. In the summer of 2020, 24-year-old Rosalie Chavarria Rodriguez was working a couple of jobs in and around the Reedsburg area. She was a housekeeper at the Wilderness Resort in Lake Delton and part of the team at Spreer's Restaurant and Pub on Wisconsin Dell Parkway. A single mother to a daughter back in Peru, she had immigrated for a better life. Rosalie sought a career in tourism, but in the meantime, she was balancing shift work across multiple jobs to make ends meet. In early July of that year, Rosalie went missing. Her husband, 22-year-old Jose Dominguez Garcia, told police that he hadn't seen her since July 4th. They had an argument and she left him. He showed them some messages from her cell phone, sent the following day. She wrote that she was moving to Chicago to start a new life. Indeed, messages to her various jobs confirmed that she was quitting and moving away. Family members reported last hearing from her on the 18th. No one was aware if she had made it to Chicago. Investigators' first port of call was the room that Rosalie and Jose rented in a house on Crimson Drive in Reedsburg. They found the room clean, but not smelling of chemicals. Inside the house, there was nothing that raised suspicions. Jose explained that his wife's belongings had— "Hi there, I'm Kevin, and welcome to Just Thought Lounge. Today's case is about the mystery behind a suitcase. It's the story of a killer who very nearly got away. This is a narrative that doesn't unravel in a straightforward fashion, instead weaving from discovery back to its been packed up and moved into the shed outside just until she had an opportunity to collect them. She had not been in touch to make those arrangements. There were several garbage bags, mostly containing clothing and accessories, Rosalie's purse, wallet, bank cards, and IDs, and other significant personal items were absent, aside from prescriptions with her name, which she would presumably need refilled. Investigators in Reedsburg had very little to go on at that point. They spoke with Rosalie's employers, who told them that she had been a no-show for her shifts from July 3rd onwards and had subsequently received messages from her phone stating that she was leaving the area. Friends said that they thought it was odd that she would leave so abruptly without many of her belongings. The small red Jetta that she often drove was missing, as was her wallet and cell phone. But they also reported another curious fact. Rosalie had been 3 months pregnant. Having discovered that Jose was sending money to another woman in Peru, she had decided to leave him to return to her daughter back home and raise her baby there. On August 12th, weeks after Rosalie was reported missing, a man named Javier Osorio filed a complaint over the title to a vehicle that he had sold to her husband, Jose. The car was a 2003 red Jetta, the one Rosalie was known to drive. Jose had paid him only a portion of the agreed amount for the car, and after that, he had been unable to reach him. Javier had been trying to piece together what he knew. He told police that Jose had been acting strange and nervous. Rosalie had gone missing, and then Jose had also disappeared. Most of the photos on both of their Facebook accounts had been deleted. It was as though the couple had abruptly and purposefully vanished, leaving little to nothing behind. Reedsburg PD could no longer locate Jose either. Shortly after the search of his home on Crimson Drive, the 22-year-old told work and friends that he was leaving for Chicago to search for Rosalie. The last he had heard from her, she was demanding that he come to Illinois if he wanted to finalize their divorce. No one had heard from Jose since he left. However, a police report in Lake Delton showed the red Jetta had been abandoned in the Hilton Garden Inn parking lot on August 5th. Having been left in the lot for over a week, a local towing company had eventually been called in to remove it. At the hotel, investigators were directed to the rear of the lot, near a wooded area where the car had been abandoned. It had been in one of the furthest areas away from the Hilton Garden Inn, where hotel guests or employees could park. The ground in the area sloped to the northeast, where a substance had drained and then pooled over time. Investigators speculated that the dark substance could have drained from a trunk of the car if it had been origins, an investigation that happens across state lines, though finally we find that everything comes together and ends in the same place. Let's take a look. In mid-October 2020, rumors backed into the space. Hotel employees then confirmed that the red Jetta had in fact been backed into the spot. All employees who had been in proximity of the car also offered the same detail. Emitting from the vehicle had been a distinctive, strong, and excessively foul odor. The car was located at Platt's Towing. Personnel there told detectives the same observation that had been offered by the hotel staff. It was impossible to stand within a 5-foot radius of the vehicle without being overwhelmed by the scent. They found the interior littered with trash, mostly empty takeout bags, drinks, and beer cans. It was covered in flies. A large knife, approximately 14 inches in length, with a wooden handle, sat on the floorboards directly in front of the driver's seat. There was a cream-colored purse sitting on the rear seat cushion next to a steering wheel cover. The trunk latch release button, which should have been located near the bottom of the driver's side door, was missing. It appeared someone had removed the button entirely, so the trunk was not able to open. Investigators eventually managed to gain access, anticipating a gruesome discovery within. But when they pried open the trunk, they did not find Rosalie, only a collection of scattered items: shoes, a skateboard, car jack, tire iron, and more empty beer cans. A smear mark on the inside of the trunk aligned with a similar marking on the bumper, indicating that something had been pulled out, leaving behind substance biological in nature. From the trunk, a yellow t-shirt with the word Hogwarts was collected, stained and covered in dead insects. It was the same shirt that Rosalie could be seen wearing on the cover photo of her Facebook page. By the time Rosalie's car was found, it was the end of August. No one had actually seen her since her last shift at Spreer's Pub on the night of July 2nd. Friends and family had, however, exchanged messages with her for several weeks after that, from Peru. Her sister Kelly and father Jorge both told detectives back in Wisconsin that they did not believe the texts they received throughout July had been authored by Rosalie. In a tearful phone call with Kelly, Jose told her that they had broken up. Rosalie was pregnant, but the baby was not his. She left to be with the father, an unknown Turkish man who lived in Chicago. Rosalie apparently left for her new life without collecting her final paychecks. Jose picked these up before also leaving the area. Her accounts were slowly drained and eventually overdrawn over the following weeks. Rosalie's cell phone had been powered off for too long by the time a subpoena could be sought. There was little data available. An older cell phone of Rosalie's, which was located amongst her things at Crimson Drive, offered some clues. It was the device that she had carried with her from Peru. Photos documented her trip to the United States, boarding a train, a photo from the window of her airplane, and quietly spreading around rural Wisconsin. There were whispers about an abandoned farm, a collection of dilapidated buildings that were often scoured for scrap, and where city individuals would meet to conduct business. On October 14th, narcotics detectives crucially, a photo of her luggage, including one large purple suitcase. Information from Jose's device offered more of the story. Between July 6th and the 30th, from the browser on his phone, he searched for remote areas near him. He looked for a new car for sale. Midway through the month, he began searching for information about Mexico, how to reach the border, and where he could afford to live. On July 22nd, the day before he reported his wife missing, how many days for the human body to disintegrate? But amongst his queries were also job listings at U.S.-based food chains. He seemed to be seeking to relocate to Mexico, yet his searches also suggested he had been contemplating jobs in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Texas, and Ohio. Paperwork and packaging for a new cell phone was discovered inside of the red Jetta. It seems that Jose had purchased a Verizon burner phone on July 23rd at a Walmart in Eau Claire. Location tracking from this device initially showed a connection off of a cell tower in Eau Claire before traveling to Des Moines, then Tulsa, Kansas City in Missouri, and then back to Eau Claire in Wisconsin on 26. The red Jetta was captured along the way. Presumably, Rosalie was in the trunk throughout this journey. The last use of this burner phone was in late August. It connected off of a tower in Kansas City. After that, Jose's location was unknown. Months passed. In October, the remains in the suitcase were discovered and sent for testing. Investigator Kwolek from the Chippewa County Sheriff's Office contacted Reedsburg about their missing person by the name of Rosalie. DNA samples from her family members were arranged and sent to Wisconsin via the Peruvian consulate to test against samples from the Jetta's trunk, as well as the remains from the suitcase. Eventually, these results were returned, and they confirmed what everyone knew to be true. Rosalie Chavarria Rodriguez had never left for Chicago. She was murdered, placed for weeks inside the Jetta's trunk, before eventually being placed into her own purple suitcase and left on an abandoned property in rural Chippewa County, where no one would think to look for her. A warrant was issued for Jose's arrest. Attempts to find him using the Social Security number he had provided for work in Wisconsin failed. License plate readers did not register any hits for vehicles that he was known to drive. Investigators learned that he had utilized several aliases for various jobs in and around Reedsburg, and he often sought employment from businesses that did not require full documentation. Reports that he had been spotted at nightclubs in Mexico City led nowhere. The case went cold for years. In late November 2023, at approximately 12:30 a.m., officers in Gladstone, Missouri, a suburb of Kansas City, Eau Claire, Wisconsin, received a tip from an individual in one of their drug cases. The information this individual offered, however, had nothing to do with drugs. 37-year-old Mai Tao, who went by the nickname Russia, was working for his girlfriend's father, a man named Bernard, as a carpet layer. Approached a red Ford Fusion in the parking lot of the 400 block of Northwest Englewood Road. Automated license plate readers detected the vehicle had a stolen plate. Responding officers approaching the driver had no idea what they were about to uncover. Officer Roman requested the driver's ID.
So that's the only reason why we're contacting you, is because those plates came back stolen. Do you have any paperwork on the car? No, I don't have no paperwork. Okay, when did you get the car? No. When did you get it? 2 or 3? Social. It doesn't matter the name of the ID. What's your first and last name? Miguel Torres. Miguel Torres. Miguel. Yeah, okay, the man identified himself as Miguel Torres. After sorting through multiple IDs with different names, as well as social security cards, he was detained. So this name, last name is Torres. It doesn't come back to these two. These two match. This one does not. Another social. Yeah, do me a favor, man. Go ahead and step out. I'm just going to detain you for now. Okay? Huh? I'm just going to detain you for now. Okay? Detain you? What does that mean? I'm going to put you in handcuffs. You're not under arrest. Okay. As the officer handcuffed him, information came pouring in through the radio from dispatch. They had just found
The suspect that had eluded Reedsburg for years, Jose Dominguez Garcia. Can you go ahead and have either County or Tim City respond? I believe it's out of Wisconsin. That name that he provided is showing as an alien. I'm just attending him for now. Anna, do you have any weapons on you? No. Really quick, intentional homicide. Looks like we're unborn child, hiding a corpse. But I'm going to put you in the car. Okay. Like I said, you're just being detained. Okay, so I'm calling Jill. No, you're just being detained. Have a seat in here. Okay. He has like 2 different socials, dude. He has like 3 or 4 different IDs. None of those IDs come back to him, even the Mexican one. You know what his background on his phone is? What? It's of a baby girl. Piece of man. In the years since leaving Reedsburg, Jose had started a new life. He had when he was told a rumor, is there anything that would be very unusual or something that you may want to bring up to me? This one time I was at his house and he came home. I don't know. He mentioned something weird about
new partner and was a father to a baby girl. So here's the deal. You're under arrest for, you have a warrant out, all right? So you're under arrest for that. And you're also under arrest for the stolen plate, too, and also the false info, because all the names that you gave.
us did not come back to your actual name. Okay, so you're going to be going to county jail. So it's going to be a long time in jail for me now. My daughter, born last month, Gladstone PD took him into custody, and he was later extradited to Chippewa County and formally indicted for first-degree murder. In January 2025, Jose pleaded no contest to reckless homicide in the murder of his wife and unborn child. The sentencing hearing was heated as family from Peru traveled to the court to make emotionally charged statements detailing their grief. Rosalie's sister, Kelly, called out to Jose in court, calling him a killer. Through a translator, her father told the court of their heartbreaking loss and that of Roselle's young daughter, who would never know her mother. My daughter was a 23-year-old young lady. She was a single mother. I won't deny that. I knew her inside out. I knew her very well. She was very responsible. She was providing for her daughter that stayed with us. And she came to this country with big dreams, just as many other people come here to be a student, with better hopes, to be a good citizen and move to a better life. Jose was given an opportunity to speak. He continued to deny that Rosalie had been carrying his child. He did admit to the murder, explaining that he had collected his wife after her shift at Spreer's pub. In the car, they had argued. Then he strangled her. Yeah, I would love to speak to the court about it, and I read the statements from the family. I know that words will not change anything. It doesn't matter what I say. They will not change their opinion. But I'm here, and I will accept the punishment, and I really feel bad for the family. I want to tell them that I feel so sorry, and I think that's all. What can I say? The judge offered a lengthy case summary, outlining how Jose had hidden Roselle's disappearance for so long, faked her correspondence, cashed her paychecks, and eluded law enforcement, all the while beginning a new family. He was sentenced to 40 years, 25 years in prison, and another 15 on release. I want to say to this criminal, Jose Dominguez Garcia, the man here in this photo, that he rots in jail because he didn't have compassion for 2 lives, Gloria. Finding a body. I wasn't sure if it's real or not, but the way his face reacted and everything, I thought it was real, but then I didn't. He said he went to this abandoned area, And then he saw the suitcase, and he opened him, and
that was the tragic case of Rosalie Chavarria Rodriguez. Thank you for joining me. And a special thanks this week to Sharon Denise, 1911 Spy, Durko, Salem, Tiffany P., and JJ Spots for joining our Sherlock Holmes membership. It's great to have you all.
in the lounge. I'm Kevin. This is Just Thought Lounge, and I'll see you in the next one. Doing all the research, keeping it objective, always been effective. They say he got a neck. Pick a litter. You see how Newton got his back. Yeah, the content that you need. This
Could be a new sign. We talk in the comments, they jotting a few lines. Tune in and hit like. Love that, it's too kind. Feels like the whole world is online for true crime. Watch 'em run, but it's not a race. Really hard to disappear without a trace. Sherlock Holmes with it I put. You in your place. That's what he found. And he's scared, reported. 'Cause like he opened it and his prints is on it, so he don't know what to do. From the Chippewa County Jail, Russia told investigator Kalik about a suitcase. He described the scene in an abandoned property off of a rural road outside of Milwaukee.